YouTube. Need to give me a Alrighty, let's get this mic on. So, I'm not gonna lie, chat, 3 viewers is more than I was expecting for whatever this is gonna be. I don't really know what this is gonna be. I mean, I know we're gonna be working on Embervania, but let's just get the screen up. Alright, so this is me. Yeah? Is that it? This is me. Just put it back. Oh, that's alright. This is my PNG tuber avatar, just at the moment. Alright, so let's chuck the screen capture on. So hopefully this should be displaying my main screen. Again, I am completely new to this. Like I said, other than the test stream, so pretty much anything could happen. Hopefully I won't leak too much of my personal information, but yeah, here we go. Alright, that's good. That's Godot. And we can see the dialogue box, which I'm hopefully going to be working on tonight while I yap away at you guys. So yeah, basically, I just kind of felt like doing this, I guess, because I have done this before. I wanted to see how it felt. You know, we're just exploring like we do at college. I'm seeing, Hypnoticris, am I pronouncing that right? You're the only person in chat who I don't know who it is, though, I mean, the other people are Mike and Bink, who I've been hanging around for ages, so yeah, you know, that's my safe zone. But yeah, if you're new to Godot, this might be a little bit of a whistle-stop tour because I've been using this thing in one way or another for a little while. Godot 4, I started on Godot 3, but yeah, Godot 4, not so much. And yeah, I'm kind of, I guess, basically, I don't know how boring this is going to be. Like, I want to kind of try and find a relatively amusing way of like streaming my development on this thing. So I guess we'll just kind of see what happens. Just to give you guys an idea of where we're at with this game already, I'm just going to pause the music quickly so you can hear what's going on here. I'm gonna fire the game up, and you'll see where we're at already, basically. Don't show Ember this. So we got a main menu. So that's pretty cool. We got the nice kind of like wibbly wobbly water effect type thing going on from the, what do you call it, the beta? I don't know, the game jam entry that I had for this before. And I've ported like the tile set over, added a few other new things in here, I guess. New guys isn't going to make any sense to you, but Bink and Michael, if you're still in here, this may look familiar, I don't know. So yeah, we got this menu, we got a config menu, you can see the rat in the corner, so that's fun. These will work, you can change the volumes, you can change whether it's full screen or not. Actually, because I'm in a tiling window manager, I'm actually not sure what this is going to do. Oh, okay, it's pretty much what you'd expect. So yeah, and you can change the controls and stuff as well, but I'm not going to do that right now because, yeah, I can tell you that was a pain in the arse to get working. Yeah, man. We'll go back here, and yeah, like I say, this is going to kind of spoil the game, I guess, but given how tiny it is, I don't think anyone cares, so let's just fire it up and you can see the intro and all that fun stuff.
Wake up. Hello, you stinky rat girl. Sigh. I stole all of your cheese. Okay, you're clearly fast asleep. Come find me when you wake up, hey?
All right, so here we are. So that was Mike. I don't know if you saw the game jam entry, but that other rat that was just with us, which might have been given away by the TTS, is Commie, but in rat form. So we got to go find her now. And the reason this thing has popped up is because we haven't moved enough yet. So let's do that. So yeah, we got a little bit of water physics going on. A lot of this code was just copied from Feral Flowers, I'm not going to lie, and just ported to Godot 4 rather than 3. So yeah, we can go over here. There's like a kind of a hold down the jump button to jump really far mechanic going on. Yeah, she did play it on stream. Ancient history, but she did play it on stream. So yeah, that's what the run looks like now. And yeah, this is where we are. And you can see that this dialogue box that I was kind of prototyping is kind of like overlaying the playfield at the moment, which isn't meant to be there. I was just kind of playing around with it. But yeah, we are going to make Rat Fan actually say, normalize being a sleepyhead, hopefully. But yeah, though you can't see it because it's covering it up, you're kind of running around in the sewers and you're collecting Cheez-Its. That's basically the entire thing at the moment. Not much more to it than that. So yeah, I will quit this now. Oh, it's just taking me back to the menu. So yeah, I'm making a game right now, but I never think of this. Oh, believe me, like all of these ideas just came to me through simply being in a Discord. How would I describe the pyre? It's a fun place to be. It's a cozy place to be. I don't know. Basically, I just wanted to make a thing with a bunch of my like online-y type friends in it. So yeah, that's it. Hold on, I'll just fire the music back up. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit clunky, but all right, there we go. The Ashatos is back. All right. So, now I need to remind myself where I was with this, because, as you can see, there are, like, a lot of things in here. I've also just realised my mouse is scrolling really slowly, which is because I am a fool, and I use a tiling window manager, and I've done weird stuff with my mouse. So, I'm just going to attempt to fix that quickly. Try to ignore what you see here, I guess. Yeah. Cool. And no one will have to remember what I just did. Okay, cool. Yeah, that feels a lot better. So my mouse is working properly now. Oh yeah, this music. So hold on. Let me see if I can like drag the window onto my other monitor so you can see it. I don't know if I can. White Horse is a bit daft. Does it let me do this? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so basically, this is from like this random space shooter called Ashatos. I think that's how you pronounce it. And yeah, the music is banging. It sounds like Mega Drive, Sega Genesis type stuff. I don't know. It's really cool. Show that back over here. All right, yeah. So at the moment, I basically just need to refamiliarize myself with what the hell I was doing here. Mike. You know, speaking of Godot game dev, do you know Wolfie? I know, like, so Wolfie, I first stumbled across him because of hanging out in, I guess, like, Hololive subreddit, like, way back in, like, 2021 when he was doing all of those, like, Gen 1 drawings, like, animations that he did that were really cute. Yeah, then I randomly found him in Choco's streams, which was like a bit of a surprise, I guess. But yeah, I'm guessing you're saying he also does this. I did not know that. If so, that's pretty cool. Thank you, dudes. Thanks for stopping by. He's making a full game in Godot. Huh. He finished it. Huh. Oh damn. Okay, yeah, that's a serious achievement. I mean, something Pirate Software, right? Yeah, that's awesome. I need to like check up on that. I had no idea he was even into game dev. I knew, like, obviously he's like a really creative person, like having made all of, I don't know, all of that artistic stuff. But yeah, no idea he was a game dev. Coward, hello, welcome. We are, I guess, Godoting it up, but I still haven't actually gotten to the point where I've refamiliarized myself with what it is I was actually meant to be doing. So I'm going to attempt to do that now. Alright, so it was this node here. It was this dialogue node that I was meant to be working on. It was just like, I think I'm going to make a game, and then he made a game. Isn't that a lesson for us all? I mean, like, to be honest, the pattern with most Godot devs is you try and make a game, and then you get distracted, and then you make like 3 or 4 different Godot logos that you put in the splash screen for your game, and then you abandon the project. So yeah, in that sense, I guess Embervania is at least bucking the trend, just a little bit. I mean, but this was kind of spurred on by a game jam, so yeah. I don't know, I have a motivation problem in general. Game jams definitely help with that. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of hoping that in some weird way that streaming this will at least like provide me with some accountability. So yeah. Fun fact about this, by the way, like a lot of the dialogue for the game and a lot of the kind of structure is already done. I made it, like I wrote the whole thing out ages ago. I should probably actually check with everyone in the Discord who is being featured here and who I've written dialogue for that they are actually cool with it. I'll have to do that at some point. But yeah, this is actually one of fans' lines. I believe this was in the original Game Jam game. So yeah, this is just what I chucked in here because it seemed like a fair thing to do. Okay, it actually started with him buying random 3D software. He found to play around with it, and he suddenly was motivated to make a game. Crocodile 3D. is this something Croc Legend of the Gobos adjacent by any chance? Sure hope so. Alright, so what I'm going to attempt to do here is firstly we need to add, like, so this obviously is just one scene and I want to make this kind of like dialogue box object generic. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a script to it, and this needs to be in, we'll just chuck it in levels for the moment, but yeah. I spend a large part of my life organising my code and fretting about where it's all going to go, so yeah, basically anything could happen here. It's just some random 3D tiling thing. Huh, fair enough. I mean, so, fun fact about Croc, I friggin' love that game. The controls are the worst thing ever, and like just prime, like kind of 1996 territory 3D awfulness. But I love the music, and it's like one of my favorite things. I don't know, like sometimes I just stick the PS1 disc in a CD player and I just jam out. It's incredible. How do you feel about Godot? It's actually the only engine that I've properly used. Before this, I was actually in. I was just using, like, I was kind of doing my own thing in C++, which is something that I guess that a lot of guys kind of do. Like, especially if you come from like a systems programming background, you kind of think, you look at an engine and you're just like, ugh, that's really inefficient. I'm going to roll my own. But yeah, I am glad that I did learn this because I did actually manage to publish a game as a result of that. So that's a good thing. I mean, nobody bought it. Let's be clear about that. But the fact that I did it is good. Also, I've just noticed that there's a notification up here telling me to take a break. We're just going to ignore these. I should really take those off while I stream, but yeah, I don't know. Let's not worry about that. CV played Croc on stream. I had no idea about this, but I'm sad that I missed it. Was it like the recomp, or the remaster or whatever it was? Because I hear that's a lot better because they, you know, obviously removed the tank controls. I do need to give that a go, actually. Alright, yeah, the remaster. Okay. Some might say the remaster is the coward's way out. But, I don't know, man. I take a sippy. Alright. You might play the Gex. I did not know there was a Gex remaster. Funnily enough, another PS1 game that I recently ordered. Alright, so I am gonna attempt to have a go at this, and I'm also going to attempt to keep an eye on chat. And I'm also going to attempt to kind of describe what it is that I'm doing here. I don't know how interested the cats are here in what's actually going on, but yeah, this is Godot. You've got all these different views. You've got the 2D one where you arrange things kind of statically in the level. You've got the scripting thing where you write the code. And if you put this tool line in at the top, what this does is it means that you can actually run code while you are still in the editor, so while the game isn't even running yet. And that's kind of cool, because it means that you can completely wreck your game while you're still in the editor by just writing a bunch of code, so that's kind of awful. The Gex Master just released recently. Yeah, okay, do you know what? I'm actually going to make a note of that now, because I don't know if I'm just getting really intolerant or something of old games. I certainly hope not, because I love my PS1. But I did play Gex 3D recently, and I did spend a relatively high amount of the time just kind of thinking, ugh, I wish I had more frames per second. I wish I had a better viewport here. I wish the camera was nicer. Ugh, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Gex Remaster. I'm physically writing this down now. There. Alrighty. I will check that out. Thank you, Mike. I will check that out. Okay, back to Cody Wody. Best thing about Gex is the voice lines. I feel like I'm in the inside of Boy George's pants. So, actually no, let's not start with ready. We'll start with some export variables, because there are two things that we definitely know that we're going to want for a dialog box. The first one is going to be the name. Actually no, we don't want that, because that's the name of the node. So we're going to call this the, I don't know, actor. I am terrible at juggling chat. I'm really going to have to get used to this. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Was that the one that Rare did after they were divorced from Nintendo? I feel like that sounds about right. I don't know. I've also heard that Yooka-Laylee is a bit dodgy. Or at least maybe the remaster of it is? I don't know. I remember seeing someone playing it. I think it was Vinny. I think I remember seeing Vinny playing Yooka-Laylee, and it just didn't feel right at all. Yeah. Okay, so what else are we going to add to this node? I guess the next thing is going to be the lines of dialogue. So this is going to be an array of strings. So let's see how that looks up here. All right, yeah. So cool. We can put fan in there, and we can add elements to this, I guess. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. So, on the subject of the rubber duck for debugging that Mike mentioned, what I'm going to try and kind of figure out now is how I am going to start assigning these. So I guess the simplest thing that we could do would be in Ready just to set the actor. So I guess actually also we are going to need these two labels in here, right? Why did I click and drag that? That was a terrible idea. In fact, I should have. Hold on, let me just try something quickly. Yeah, okay. Cool. That's a super secret plugin that I made. Don't tell anyone. It formats this stuff for you. More on that later. Actor label and I guess body? I should really rename these. Fun fact about my development strategy is that I spend 99% of my time refactoring stuff. Body. Okay, sweet. So we can then do that, and we can then do that. Nice. Alright, so in the ready function, pretty simple. We're just going to say that the text of the label is equal to the actor, and the body label is going to, the text of that is going to be the first line of dialogue, I guess. Now, if I save this, is it going to have changed anything? No, it's not. Alright. I'm going to try reloading the scene, because that technically should have actually like changed the dialogue. So, hold on, what was it? It was called Godot. Maybe I'm missing something here, but yeah, this should be changing the actual label that I see within this element by doing this. I don't know. Alright, let's move on to something else. What I'm going to attempt to do now is... actually, first, I'm going to see why the music has stopped. Interestingly enough, it seems to be because YouTube has ended the playlist and then not repeated it, despite the fact that I told it I wanted it repeated. Newbie streamer. Oh my gosh. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to think about like how I actually want this thing to appear. I'm presuming that it would be best if it just kind of popped up from the bottom. So I guess that actually its start position is something that I'm going to want to modify. Alright. So given that this is a layer, I'm actually going to make a node within here. And I'm going to use this node to basically modulate the position of all of these things that are underneath it. So I'll chuck those in here. Let's call this dialogue as well. And the idea is that we are going to move this thing, and now we can just move the whole lot rather than having to move them all individually like this. So, reset the position of this thing, and what we're going to do is, that is very slow. Yeah, effectively, we are going to try and make this pop up from the bottom when the level starts, I guess, just as a starting position. I don't know. What I'm noticing about this is that it is far more difficult to sort of flow and come up with ideas on the spot while I'm streaming. That's something I'm going to have to think about in future, I guess. Or maybe I should just become a variety streamer who doesn't do anything that requires any kind of like actual concentration on stream. Let me know your thoughts. Alright, let's start with the lowest common denominator stuff. So, to begin with, let's figure out how low this needs to go. Can't about this. Am I going completely metal? Right. Alright, yeah, there we go. So now that is, so this blue box here for the uninitiated, that is the actual camera view. So this is telling us that we have actually hidden the dialog box just out of view. So what we can do is we can say, just as an example, on each frame, and I'm going to do this in physics process, which if you're new to Godot, don't do this. Do as I say, not as I do. Use process, not physics process, to do stuff like this. I'm using physics process because I don't know if I have the energy to explain it right now, but it just happens to suit the precise workflow that I have with this project and most of my other projects with Painter and Audio. So yeah, let's start by we'll grab a reference to this node here that we're using to move the entire lot. What are we going to call it? I guess we'll just call it the node 2D. And in here, ignore delta because we're not doing any timescale stuff here. We are going to say that node2d.y, position.y is going to be. Do this again. I guess we'll use min. Yeah, we can use min. All right. No, it's actually going to be max. So it's going to be the maximum of 0 or this minus 1. So this really is baby steps programming, but that's the mode my brain is in at the moment. So let's give this a run and see what happens. Oh wait, this is just starting the entire game again. Do we have a problem? Valid assignment to property or key text with value of type string. Oh, okay. It's because I nested all of these objects, so we want to do this. Pretty classic mistake there. We've still got a problem. Implicit ready, no not found dialog body. Oh, it's because I didn't rename this. That's what's going on. Alright. I wonder if that's fixed this whole problem of this not updating the text. Well, it hasn't, so we'll we'll ignore that and we'll just run this and see if it actually works. Okay, so in game, the text is updated, so that's good, I guess. I suppose that actually the tool thing doesn't matter all that much. And actually, you know what I'm going to do, just for my peace of mind right now? I'm going to quit this, go back to the script, and I'm going to make this just a little bit faster. Okay, yeah, that looks about right. Alrighty, what am I going to do next? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to blank these out. In fact, no, am I going to blank these out? I think that these are good default values to have because it kind of shows me like where things are in the editor. I suppose one thing I would like to do is to add like a kind of box that that flashes when the text is ready to. What am I trying to say here? When the text is ready to be advanced, that seems like a pretty gamey thing to do, I suppose. So I guess we are going to have to make one of those, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to grab these colors here because I'm very lazy. I'm going to fire up GIMP, and we are going to make just an 8x8 sprite. There are definitely more efficient ways of doing this, but this is how I'm doing it right now in the interests of speed and simplicity and all that jazz. And we are going to, shut up Roche, we are going to grab this thing with the clipboard. This is purely just so I can grab the colors because I don't have a palette because I'm a fool and I always forget how to do this and how to keep the colors around. So that'll do the trick. So let's start with we're doing the painter's algorithm. We'll start with the background, fill that in, should be that color, and then start with the foreground. Cool, that's what we want. In fact, for some reason, even though it's less shadowy, that feels like the right thing to do. So I'm going to do it. Alright, let's chuck this somewhere. Where are we? Yeah, ignore all these repos. Ignore the fact that there is a folder that says Flappy Bird clone. That's not my finest moment, that. Alright, I'm putting this in levels just for the moment. Dialog advance, .png, off we go, bosh, shut up GIMP, all good. Where did I put it? Literally everything I'm doing, I feel like I could be several times more efficient if I was just in my right mind. But you know what? Being on stream is kind of weirdly distracting. So yeah, there we go. That's kind of how I want it to look. Or I guess that this will go after the last character, so it'll probably just sit there. That's going to be an interesting challenge because we have to figure out like where the last character of the text is. I presume that there is some kind of like function to tell me what that is. In fact, and okay, so I definitely did this before. I did this when I was making the original Embervania, like the one for the game jam. Like there was this whole thing that I had to figure out where I wanted the text to advance one character at a time. I believe visible characters. Yeah, so you can literally just use a you can just use this attribute to set the number of characters you want in the text box. So this, like, I mean, this literally says in the help, this can be useful when animating the text appearing in a dialog box, which is literally what I'm doing. So that's cool. Is this what I'm expecting it to look like? You know what? I've just realised, I think this is off by 1 pixel. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want it to look like. We want it to look as 8x8 aligned as possible, so I can sort of at least feign having an idea how retro graphics work. Alright, nice. Nice. Okay. Apparently I've been doing this for 45 minutes already, which I kind of can't believe. I'm probably going to cap it off at the hour point before I freak myself out too much. But yeah, man. Alright, cool. I guess let's see if we can... Let's do some really simple, like, kind of proof of concept animation type stuff here. Again, I've done this before, but my brain ain't working properly, so we're just going to keep it really simple here. So to start with, we're actually going to blank the actor label and the body label out. So when we start the game, what we should see is it pops up, and yeah, we still got that little sprite that I added there, but that's just because I forgot to make it invisible. So let's get rid of this. We will indeed, I actually know what I need to do is change that to advance. We will chuck that in here. Oh, advance. Yep. Cool. Alright. Yeah, that does the job. So, what I'm going to do here is, again, I feel like there are nicer ways of doing this, but really, given that I'm just giving this a test, I guess we'll just see whether this is 0. Look at all this type correction I'm doing. How important it makes me feel when I do type correction. Alright, so we're going to check if the node's position is indeed 0. And once it's 0, we're going to set the label, I'm going to set the text to, what was it? It was lines. We'll set it to the first line. Actually, yeah, we'll set the, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, so the actor label needs to be the name of the actor. This needs to be the first line of dialogue, so that, because that's the first thing we're going to display once the dialogue box has popped up. But we also want to set the, what was it, visible characters to 0. And I'm just going to check the help quickly for labels, because I am wondering if there's some function on this you can use to get like the location of one of the characters on screen. What have we got? Get total character count, get visible line count, get line height, get line count, get character balance, position in. Oh, that's exactly what we want. That is, that's a really happy coincidence. Okay, that is, I feel like this is quite rare. I've just said, oh, I want something that does this, and then it just immediately there, it's the first function in the help. Beautiful. Alright, so at this point, I guess we are gonna, I'm gonna reorganize this a little bit. So I'm gonna set visible characters to 0 there, and I am going to set it to 1 there. Again, this all feels really jank, but needs must. Now, what we're doing here is we're saying that if any characters are visible, if we started displaying the characters at all, actually, yeah, this is gonna be a little bit inefficient because we are dealing with all of this stuff every single frame. I'm wondering if there's a better way. In fact, there is certainly a better way of doing this, and it's going to involve tweening, isn't it? I need to do the sensible thing here. I'm going to do the sensible thing here. So, I'm going to make a tween. Rather than iterating on stuff every single frame, like I'm doing here with this like max function and everything, tweens are the right way of doing things. It's just... oh man. I probably shouldn't have started streaming so late. I really am going to have to give myself a pep talk after this and be like, how can I make my next stream more cohesive, and how can I make sure that I'm more awake, and how can I like actually try and impart something actually useful to the audience? Those would be good things to do. I mean, I really did come in here pretty unprepared, other than like, well, I mean, other than this guy. I mean, that's pretty important when you're coding, right? You need your PNG tuber avatar there. Come on. Alright, so tweens. What we're going to do is we are going to tween, tween property. And the property that we're going to tween is the node 2D, because we want to change its position. So let's chuck that in here. If we have a look at our scene, we can see that it's starting underneath the camera. So we're going to move it up until it is in the camera, which is already going to be when this is 0. So we're going to be doing exactly the same thing that we did before, but in a much simpler way that I should have done at first, but I didn't think of, because I am tired and I have already been out and had a couple of pints, which might have inspired me to do this. I'm honestly not sure. Anyway, vector 2.0, and I guess we're going to just like make it take 1 second. We're then going to await the tween, and this is where the fun stuff can happen. So once the tween is finished, again, see, like, isn't this just way easier to read in terms of code rather than having to worry about like iterating through like loops and like functions and yeah, we're just going to say wait for the tween to finish and then set all of this stuff up. That's way better. Alright. So we can get rid of this, and now we can say while the number of visible characters is less than the length of the text that's in the box. We're going to wait for a frame. Then we're going to add one to the number of visible characters. Alright, so that should like give us a relatively good start for those characters appearing. I'm just going to run this now and see whether it does what I actually want it to. Alright, so that's popping up. And we can see that the characters have appeared. So, we've done something right. But they appeared way too quickly. So, what I'm going to do is, I guess we will catch the tree. I actually have no idea whether calling this function actually incurs any kind of penalty. Like a computational penalty, and whether it is actually worth caching the tree, the scene tree, of which you can grab this process frame signal. But I always do this because I guess it just feels like the right thing to do. So we're going to wait for two frames, and then we are going to increase the number of visible characters by 1. Okay, cool. I mean, it's still a little bit fast, but that's cool. I also need to remove the advanced thing. So, try again. Yep, there we go. Nice, nice. Alright. I'm just going to make this pop up just a little bit more quickly. I have other ideas for how I could make this look even smoother, but I think this is fine for now. Alright, yeah, that's cool. Now, what I'm going to do here, this is where the fun stuff that I mentioned earlier is going to come in. So this advanced box, which I have just placed here, I'm going to try and get this to display just after the last character being displayed here. So yeah, we'll give this a go. The way that we're going to do this is, I guess we are going to, so the first thing we're going to do is, like, once the tween is finished and the dialog box has actually popped up, we are gonna, let's just rename this advance, because that's, we already know that this is to do with the dialogue. We're literally in the dialogue script right now. Advanced.visible equals true, and we are gonna put, in fact, you know what, let's chuck that here, because then we know that it's gonna be in the right start position. Yeah, that feels right. Alright. So, advanced.position. So this is, we are running this code here right after we've just made one more character visible. I just realized, hold on, we just got a warning. What's this? Oh, okay, it's that thing I just typed. Ignore that. So we've just made one more of the characters visible, and what we're going to do here with this advanced box thing is we are going to change its position so that it's just after the character that was made visible. So I guess to do that, what we're going to want to do is we're going to use that function that we found earlier, which, what was it? Body label dot get character bounds. That's the one. Just get this nicely formatted. Okay, so we are setting this to the bounds of the character -1. I wonder if this will actually work without us doing that, because what I was going to do was I was going to add 8 to the X position so that it's just after where the character is, so it kind of looked like a cursor in a terminal, you know? But because each one of these grid boxes here is 8 by 8 pixels, right? But I wonder if we can actually use this function on characters that aren't visible yet. So I'm going to give that a go. Value of type rect2. Oh right, yeah. So this needs to be dot position. Because yeah, what this function is actually returning is a rect2, which is not a vector. This is 2 vectors. Well, I mean, you get 3 vectors here, but effectively it's just 2 vectors. You've got a position and then a size, and then end is position plus size. Yeah. I'm literally just reading the docs to you right now before I read the docs. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Alright. Let's give this a go. So, now it's ended up in the top right corner, which is not what I wanted. Is get character bounds like relative in the label's local coordinate system? Okay, right. So that explains it. So we're going to have to add to this body label dot. What was it called again? I have to go into one of these. Layout transform. Was it just position? I guess it was just position. Yeah. Yeah, alright. That should make it work. That did not make it work. What if we do that? Oh! Okay. So, what we've learned here, I guess, is that you can't... Just kind of actually try and explain what happened there. So, effectively, I was calling this function here to get the position of the next character that I wanted this little box to pop up over, but it wouldn't do that. And I'm guessing that is indeed because the character wasn't visible yet. I don't know. But yeah, what we actually ended up needing to do was to index -1 so that we get the character that has just been made visible. Again, I'm probably not describing this very well, but what I'm actually going to do then is, because I mentioned I actually want this to be... Hold on, let me just move this back to where it was, because I do actually want it to start in this position here. So I want to add 8 to that, just in the X direction, because I want that block to be in the cell that is the one after the character is going to appear in. So, yeah, nice. That's good. That's good. I'm going to capitalize that fan text because, as we know, in adventure games, everything important is capitalized. Yeah. I wonder where Fan is these days. I haven't seen him in ages. I'm aware he's still around, but I haven't seen him in ages. Occasionally we still get Emberludes, so, you know, he's definitely still kicking around. He has to be. We wouldn't get the Emberludes if he wasn't kicking around. Alright. Very nice. So, I think I've been streaming for like almost an hour now, and I'm getting tired. I was very unprepared. Like I said, I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I still don't have any idea what I was doing. And so I think I'm probably gonna leave it there for the night. But yeah, as for what I'm going to do next with this, like obviously I need to hook it up so that this thing pops up when you actually go and talk to an NPC, and also we need to deal with like this kind of loop that goes on of hold on, like so actually getting these different lines of dialogue being displayed one after the other, and there's going to be some kind of weird. Like, there's going to be some, like, kind of weird input logic there with quite a few edge cases, I would imagine, so, I don't even know how fun that would be to stream. I don't know. I don't really know anything, to be honest. Alright, we're gonna, so we're gonna leave it there. Somehow, I've managed to maintain a grand total of 3 viewers. So that's cool, I guess. Let me just change this text quickly. But yeah. To everyone who stopped by, thank you for coming and watching me code for a little bit. This little experiment that I'm doing, and yeah, I'm gonna say something very idolish. I hope I can get better for you guys, be a good streamer, do all of that stuff at some point. Yeah, I think practice is just gonna make perfect with this stuff. There's nothing quite like actually doing it versus imagining doing it. Yeah. And eventually, we'll have a cool game that the rat can play, and we can all have a good laugh as she navigates her way through this like sewer maze. And Mike sends her Peter Griffin TTS, telling her that he needs to see a picture with her ass out. So yeah, looking forward to that. And this text isn't centered. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks everyone, all three of you for stopping by. And yeah, I hope to do this again soon. See you later.
Thank you.